pupils, parents, and guardians. Let me start by thanking you for being a part of all our remote learning platforms, particularly our television program, The Classroom in Your Home. Each feedback has been awesome. Good job, you. Our teachers have been working assiduously to bridge the learning loss during this critical period. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the Classroom in Your Home has been extended to accommodate the lower primary classes and a dedicated lesson to cater for our special needs pupils in line with our mandate of providing an all-inclusive and quality basic education in our dear state.
Hello pupils, you're welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home, a program organized by the Lagos State Government and packaged by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. It is to ensure that you are academically engaged in addition to what you're learning in school. That is blended learning. I am Auntie Fumi, your English Studies teacher. As usual, I have with me your wonderful teachers.
Hello children, I am Uncle Agbaje, your mathematics teacher, but you know me as the mathematician.
Uncle Popo is here, your general studies teacher.
We also have our hard-working sign language interpreter, Uncle Wale. Together, we are bringing the classroom into your home. Please stay tuned. Welcome to Auntie Fumi's class. In our English Studies lesson today, our focus will be some uncountable nouns and their quantifiers. Some uncountable nouns and their quantifiers. We've talked about countable and uncountable nouns. Remember? Good. But before we go into the topic or the learning objective for today, let's look at the correction to our previous homework. In our last lesson, we looked at homophones. And for your assignment, you were asked to make sentences with the following. Made, M-A-D-E. Made, M-A-I-D. Loan, L-O-A-N. Loan, L-O-N-E. Hair, H-A-I-R. And hair, H-A-R-E. How many of you submitted the assignment? Okay, I received so many, and definitely I will appraise you accordingly. But let's look at what I have here. I know definitely we will have different sentences, but here is what I have. For made, M-A-D-E, I wrote, Mom made pasta. I know you love pasta. So, Mom made pasta. And for maid, M-A-I-D, I wrote, Mom told the maid to make rice for dinner. Mom told the maid to make rice for dinner. I got a loan for the house. That is L-O-A-N. I got a loan for the house. Number 4, loan, L-O-N-E. It prefers to be a lone ranger. Number 5, hair, H-A-I-R. I need to cut my hair tonight. Or I need to barb my hair tonight. And the last one, hair, H-A-R-E. It moves so fast like her hair. Do you have something close to that? Well done. You are awesome totally. A cheer for you. Now to the learning objective for this lesson. Don't forget I said we're going to be looking at some uncountable nouns and their quantifiers. So by the end of today's lesson, You should be able to define uncountable nouns, and you should be able to say the appropriate assisting words for different uncountable nouns. Are you ready? Please get ready with your writing materials and let's begin. What are uncountable nouns? Uncountable nouns, as they are called, cannot be numerically counted without the use of certain special assisting words. And these assisting words are known as determiners or quantifiers. That is words denoting quantity. Let me take that again. Uncountable nouns, as they are called, as the name implies, cannot be numerically counted. You cannot count them one by one. You cannot count them without the use of certain special assisting words. And these words are known as determiners or quantifiers. By that I mean words denoting quantity. Unlike countable nouns, which have both singular and plural forms, uncountable nouns have only one form, except in certain specialized senses. Uncountable nouns have only one form, except in certain specialized senses. For very small quantities or very brief occurrence of uncountable nouns, we use certain special assisting words for counting them. Let's look at examples of uncountable nouns and their quantifiers. Look at this. Truth is an uncountable noun. Truth is an uncountable noun. Instead of we saying maybe truths, when you want to pluralize or quantify truth, what we have is an iota of truth. An iota of truth. So an iota is the special word used to quantify truth. Here is a sentence. There is no iota of truth in that statement of yours. That is a simple way of saying you're not telling the truth. So there is no iota of truth in that statement of yours. So iota is that specialized word used to quantify truth. Are we together? An iota of truth. A sip of drink. A sip of water. I just need a sip of your orange drink. Will you give me? Okay, so a sip of drink or a sip of water. Another example is a piece of advice or a piece of news. A piece of advice will help you better. So advice is an uncountable noun and we use a piece of to quantify it. So a piece of advice or a piece of news. A particle of sound or a speck of dirt. Sweep the room properly to ensure there is no particle of sand. A particle of sand. You know already that sand is an uncountable noun. A grain or pinch of salt, a pinch of sugar, a pinch of sand, a pinch of snuff. Kindly give me a pinch of salt. A moment or a period of time. A moment or a period of time. Can you count time? It's uncountable. So a moment or a period of time. Here is a sentence. It turned a new leaf at that period of time. It turned a new leaf at that period of time. So a period of time or a moment of time. A crumb, crust or morsel of food. A crumb of bread, a crust of bread, a morsel of food. Whenever you finish eating, pick up any crumb of food on the table. The crumb of is the quantifier used for food. So a crumb of food. A beam of light. A beam of light. A breath of air. A breath of air. A burst of laughter. Ha ha ha. A burst of laughter. A dab, tint, or touch of color. A dab of color, a tint of color, or a touch of color. A drop or shower of rain. A drop or shower of water. We're still on examples of uncountable nouns and their quantifiers. A fragment or splinter of glass, a gust of smoke or a gust of wind, a lock or strand of hair, a lock or strand of hair, a knot or part of butter, a knot or part of butter, a pane or splinter of glass, a puff of air or a puff of wind, a ray of hope. Having looked at examples of uncountable nouns and their quantifiers, let's test ourselves to see how attentive we have been in the course of the lesson. Choose the correct answer from the options given. Let me give you dash advice. Let me give you dash advice. Is it much advice, many advice, or a piece of advice? Number 2, our house is so clean that you hardly find dash. Is it a particle of dirt, a particles of dirt, many particles of dirt? Number 3, may I taste your drink? I will only take dash of it. Is it measure, a sip, or a fragment? Number 4, a dash of light shone from that lamp. Is it a drop of light, a fragment of light, or a beam of light? Number 5, there has been no dash of rain since last week. Is it ray of rain, sip of rain, or drop of rain? You have 30 seconds to write only the answers, and your time starts now. Your pens down. Eyes on me. By now you should have been able to supply 5 answers. Let's have the correction. Let me give you a piece of advice. Did you write that? Good of you. Our house is so clean that you hardly find a particle of dirt. Is that your answer? Okay. May I taste your drink? I will only take a sip of it. Did you get that too? I trust you. Number 4, a beam of light shone from that lamp. A beam of light shone from that lamp. And lastly, there has been no dash of rain since last week. There has been no drop of rain since last week. Auntie got 5 out of 5. What about you? Then I need to celebrate you with a cheer. Well done. Good job, you. Now to your assignment. Fill in the gaps with the appropriate assisting words. We looked at uncountable nouns and their quantifiers. That is the assisting words used to denote quantity. A dash of hair, a dash of butter, a muscle of dash, a gust of dash, and a breath of dash. In the next 20 seconds, please capture this assignment. I'll come back to sign out. Well done, children. Well done. And that's it for today. We have come to the end of the English Studies lesson for today. To at uncountable nouns and their quantifiers. Yes. And I had fun teaching you. And I know you had fun learning too. It's time to hand you over to Uncle Agbaje, the mathematician, for another loaded mathematics lesson. Don't forget, Auntie Fumi is always proud of you. Bye.
Hello children, you are welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time, and that means it is time to have some fun. I am Uncle Agbaje. In our last lesson, we reviewed how to find the area of compound shapes. Did you do your assignment? Of course, today we're going to look at that assignment together. But today we're going to be moving forward in our work on area, and we're going to be finding the area of trapezoids. Do you remember what trapezoids are? Well, you'll remember today. Let's just look at that homework. You were asked to find the area of this shape. This is a compound shape of some sort, but it's also a trapezoid. And so we'll find the area of this trapezoid via the root of compound shapes. We will divide it into two. But then by the end of the lesson, you should be able to find the area of this trapezoid without having to break it down into simple shapes. Let us begin. First thing we do is that we'll partition it into two. And obviously we can partition it into a rectangle and a triangle. Now with this rectangle, the length is 8 centimeters and the breadth for the rectangle is 15 centimeters. This length 18 centimeters is for everything. So from here to here is 15 centimeters, which means that this end from this point to this point will be 3 centimeters, as you will see. Okay, so you see everything was 18, now this is 15 and this is 3. So 15 centimeters on top, 15 centimeters below, 8 centimeters here, and that means that the perpendicular length of the triangle is also 8 centimeters. So if I separate them, you say, and I label them A and B. To find the area of the rectangle is just to multiply the length by the breadth, and that is 8 times 15. 8 times 15 will give us 120 centimeters squares. I believe that you did this and you got to this point. But for B, we will need half of the perpendicular length times the breadth, and that will be half of 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. We need half of 24 for the area, and that is 12. Now adding 120 and 12 centimeter squares, 120 centimeter squares, adding it to 12 centimeter squares, because the area of this is 120 centimeter squares, and the area of this is 12 centimeter squares. When we add them together, we will get 132 centimeter squares. And I believe this was easy enough for you and you got it. And for that, I will celebrate you with a chair. You are smart. Now moving on to today's work. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the parallel sides of a trapezoid, whichever way it may have been rotated. You should also be able to find the area of given trapezoids without having to divide it into simple shapes like we did in that correction to the homework. So without wasting much time, let's just begin. Just to joggle your memory, a trapezoid, this is a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a four-sided plane shape. It's a four-sided shape that has only one set of opposite sides parallel. For this particular trapezoid, this line and this line, they are parallel. That means they go in the same direction and they will never meet. but the other pair of opposite sides are not parallel. This is not parallel to this. But a trapezoid, which we also call a trapezium, comes in different forms. As long as you have one pair of opposite sides that are parallel, then you have, and it's a four-sided shape, then you have a trapezoid. Now, today we are going to look at how to calculate the area of a trapezoid. Now, this is a trapezoid, as you can see. I have labeled the parallel sides. The one on top and the one below are parallel. So I label them. The shorter one, I label it A. The longer one, I label it B, as you can see. So we want to find the area, and so we want to see whether we can get a formula for the area. And most shapes, we can find a formula for their areas by knowing the formula for the area of a rectangle, which is just length times breadth. From that rectangle, we got the area of a parallelogram. From that parallelogram, we got the area of a triangle, and like that. So we want to see about getting the area of a trapezium. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to duplicate this trapezium into two. So now I have two trapezoids that has been duplicated. Now what I'm going to do now is that I will rotate one of them, flip it upside down like this. As you can see, now I'll join it together. And by joining it together, look at the bigger shape. What shape has been formed? The shape that has been formed, of course, is a parallelogram. But we need just the area of a trapezium. But we have gotten through two trapezoids now, and we've joined it together to form a parallelogram. So that means that the area of this trapezoid that we want is going to be half of the area of this parallelogram. I'll take that again. The area of this trapezoid will be half of the area of the parallelogram. But we remember how to find the area of a parallelogram, and that is, the area of a parallelogram is perpendicular height times the breadth. And so let me just show that here. Okay, a red will do. Now, to find the area of this parallelogram, we need the perpendicular height. Okay, we don't know what that is, but let me just call it h, perpendicular length or height. Now, then times the breadth, and the breadth in this case is A, from here to here is A, and from that to the end is B. So the length in this case is A plus B, adding the two together. And so the area of this parallelogram is the perpendicular height, which I call h, times the breadth, and the breadth is adding A and B together. So that is the area of the parallelogram, but we only need the area of the trapezoid, and so that will be half of this. That will be, the area of the trapezoid is half of the perpendicular height times A plus B, and that is this, half of the perpendicular height, that is this one, times A plus B, because A plus B was the length or the breadth of the parallelogram. But you ask me, are we going to keep drawing two trapezoids every time we want to find the area? No. Observe that in that trapezium that we started with, we have A on top and we have B below. And so that means that to find the area of a trapezoid, we will say half of the parallel sides, half of A plus B, which is the upper length and the lower length, times the perpendicular height. I'll take that again. The full parallelogram, we used the perpendicular height times A plus B. But for the trapezium, we need half of that, and that is half of the perpendicular height times the length, which is A plus B. So we don't need to keep drawing two trapezoids all the time. The smaller length on top is A, the longer length below is B. So we have A and we have B, and we also have the perpendicular height. So we just add both of them together, multiply by the perpendicular height, and take half of it, because half of it corresponds to the area of the trapezoid. And so the most important part of our work for finding the area of trapezoids is to be able to locate the two parallel sides. I have drawn 5 trapezoids here for you. I want you to try and locate the parallel sides by yourselves, because that will form your A and your B. You have to get the 2 parallel sides to be able to add them together. So you have 20 seconds to fish out the parallel sides of these trapezoids. Begin. Alrighty then, I believe that you've been able to identify the parallel sides. I'll just show you. Now this line and this line are parallel. These ones are not parallel. This line and this line are parallel. They're going in the same direction, which is upwards. These and these are parallel. They're going in this direction. So these and these are parallel. They're going horizontally. These and these are parallel as well. They are going horizontally. So to find the area of a trapezoid, you need to be able to identify the parallel sides. You also need to be able to identify the perpendicular height. But you should not have a problem with the perpendicular height at this point. Let's now solve some real problems. We are to find the area of this trapezoid. Now the parallel sides are the one with the 20 centimeter and with the one with the 25 centimeter. The perpendicular height is also 12 centimeter. And don't forget, what we need to do is say the parallel sides now. A is our smallest length for the parallel side is 20 centimeter, and the longer one is 25 centimeter. We'll call that B. Don't forget that when we're showing the formula, we name the smaller one A and the longer one B. So in this case, our A is 20 centimeter, our longer length that is parallel is 25 centimeter, and our perpendicular height is 12 centimeter, the one I called H. These are the 3 numbers that we need to find the area. So what we do now is to say the area of trapezium is half of adding the parallel sides and multiplying it by the perpendicular height. So that's perpendicular height times the breadth. Then we take half of that. So half of the parallel sides, addition of the parallel sides, times the perpendicular height. And so filling in all the numbers that we know, half of the parallel sides are 20 centimeter and 25 centimeters. So we add them together, 20 plus 25, that is 45. Then times the height. We must first add the parallel sides, A and B, before we multiply. That's why I keep putting it in brackets. We must first add them together, because remember that in the longer parallelogram, before we got the area of the trapezoid, we had A and we had B, and that constitutes the breadth of the parallelogram. So we have to first add it together before you multiply with the perpendicular length. Okay. So that being said, we now have half of, let's add together, we get 45 centimeters for 20 centimeter plus 25 centimeters now. Then times 12. So we have half times 45 centimeter times 12 centimeters. Don't forget that half means times. Then we can cross out or use numbers that can eliminate. 2 goes here 1, 2 goes here 6. And then we will have 45 times 6. So multiplying 45 by 6, 6 times 5 is 30, regroup 3. 6 times 4 is 24 plus 3, that is 27. And so we get 270 centimeter squares. So we get 270 centimeter squares. It's as simple as that. Check out one final example. This is the same trapezoid that we were given as assignment. So now we'll use the formula to solve it now. So in this case, the parallel sides are 15 and 18. So the shorter one is A and the longer one is B. A is 15 centimeters, B is 18 centimeters, and the perpendicular length, of course, is clear from the box in the corner. That is 6 centimeters. So wherever you see the box, that tells you where you have the perpendicular length. Now we can write out the formula. So half of the parallel sides times the height, And so 15 centimeters plus 18 centimeters, that will give us 33 centimeters. So I bring down half. Half becomes multiplication. 15 plus 18 is 33, and then times 6 centimeters comes down. Now I can cut across. 2 goes here, 1, because everything is multiplication, I can cut across now. 2 goes here, 1, 2 goes in 6, 3. So now I have 33 centimeters times 3 centimeters. So let's do that here. 33 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9 centimeters times centimeters. We get centimeter squares. And so our final answer is 99 centimeters squares. So as you prepare to take your own exercise, when you see the diagram, the first thing you should identify are the parallel sides. And then you identify the perpendicular height, because there is also a slant height which is not needed in the calculation. You only require the perpendicular height. So when you see the slant height, just ignore it. The parallel sides should be added, multiply it then by the perpendicular height and take half of it, because all trapezoids are half of parallelograms. So here is one of your own to do. I will give you 1 minute 30 seconds for this. Begin. Alrighty then, that time is up. Let's now see how it is done. Which are the parallel sides in this case? Well, the parallel sides are 7 centimeters and 2 centimeters, which means that they cannot be the perpendicular side again. The line that joins both of them is the perpendicular side, and that is 5 centimeters. So in this case, our A is 2 centimeters, the smaller parallel side, and our B is 7 centimeters, and the line that is perpendicular to both of them is 5 centimeters, that is H. So these are the values that we need. Area of the trapezium is half of the parallel sides, then times the height. And so half of A plus B is half of 2 centimeters plus 7 centimeters. 2 plus 7 centimeters, 2 centimeters plus 7 centimeters is 9 centimeters. Then we multiply by 5. Half of 9 times 5. So now 9 times 5, 2 cannot go in 9, 2 cannot go in 45. So that means we have to multiply everything. So let's just resolve it right away. Let's put all this over 1. Then we have 1 times 9 times 5. That will give us 45. Then 2 times 1 is 2. Now divided by 2, 2 goes here 1. 2 goes in 4, 2 times. 2 goes in 5, 2 times. Remaining 1 all over 2. And your 1 all over 2 can be written as 0.5 as well. So this is 22.5 or 22.5. Whichever one you got, my friend, you are correct. Our final answer, my friend, is 22.5 centimeters squares or 22.5 centimeters squares. Both of them are correct. Did you get it right? If you did, excellent job, you, my friend. I thumb praise you. But if you did not, do not worry. That homework is coming up right about now. Find the areas of these trapezoids. Remember, the parallel sides come first, then the line that joins them that is perpendicular to the parallel side is the perpendicular height. These are the three numbers that you need. The area of the trapezoid will be given by half of the sum of the parallel sides, then times the height. So capture this, you have 30 seconds, and I'll be right back. Alrighty then, that time is up, and of course the time for the mathematics lesson is also over. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. It's time for me to hand you over to Uncle Popo for the general studies lesson till I come your way in the next class with another interesting lesson in mathematics. Do remain wonderful mathemagicians. Bye bye now.
Hello pupils, you are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. I know some are already saying what I'm about to say, but now let's open it. Uncle Popo is here.
I am also here.
Good, we are here together.
100% attention.
Excellent. That means you have promised to give me 100% attention in today's lesson. Our subject for today is social studies. In our last lesson, we talked about transportation, especially land, especially the means of transportation on land. And you were told that transportation could be defined as the movement of goods and services from one place to another. Transportation is the movement of goods, people, and services from one place to another. Then we talked about means of land transportation. Today we want to move further and discuss air transportation. That's the topic for today. How many of you have traveled by flight before? How many of you? Good. I know some of you have been seeing aeroplane flying, and some have not had the opportunity to board the plane. And let me even ask this. What is the fastest means of transportation? What do you think? What do you just think that would be the fastest means of transportation? Okay, some are saying by car, some are saying by motorbike, some are saying by air. So now let's go into today's topic. Air transportation, the lesson objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to define air transportation and list examples of means of air transportation. And you should be able to state problems of air transportation and solutions to the problems. Air transportation. Air transportation means carrying of goods and passengers from one place to another by air. Carrying of goods and passengers from one place to another by air. That's the definition for air transportation. Talking about air transportation, we have means of air transportation. I think let's look at this picture together. All these are flying in the air. But now let's look at the means of air transportation here in Nigeria and the common ones. The first one is helicopters. Say that helicopters is one of the means of air transportation. Let's talk about it. A helicopter can fly very high, but not as high as an aeroplane. It can fly very high, but not as high as an aeroplane. A helicopter moves fast, but cannot carry many passengers and goods at once. It moves fast, but it cannot carry many passengers and goods at once. It can travel to a long distance. It only needs a simple takeoff and a small landing space. It does not require more space to land like aeroplane. That's helicopter. So moving on to another means of transportation, of air transportation, and this is jets. Say that? Jets. So let's discuss jets. Jets are built like aeroplanes, but could be smaller in size. They are very fast and carry only few passengers. Jets are built like aeroplane, but not as big as aeroplane. And the difference is jets cannot carry many passengers, can just carry few passengers. So that is jets. And the last one is aeroplanes. Say that. I know some of us are very familiar with this. Aeroplanes can travel long distances. They are very large and can carry many passengers and goods. So very large, can carry many passengers and goods at the same time. And it can, like I said, it can travel long distances, can carry somebody from one country to another, even from one continent to another continent. So aeroplane, that is aeroplane. So let's watch this short video and see what I've been talking about in this lesson.
Wow, Tia, this is so cool. I wish I could fly like this forever.
Tofu, maybe not forever, but you can use different modes of transportation to enjoy this experience.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, who are you?
Hi, I am a helicopter. I can fly and hover in the sky. You can use me not only for aerial fun view, but also to save lives.
Wow, I want to know more. Who are you?
I am an aeroplane. You can travel long distances in me. I also carry cargo from one place to the other.
Even to Spain for my football match?
Yes, even to Barcelona.
Hey, you know who I am? No. I am a glider. I can glide in the air. But I can only travel short distances and land over water too.
That's my favorite, Tofu.
Now mine too. Wow, you're so beautiful. Who are you?
I am a colorful hot air balloon. I float in the air. You can sit inside me and enjoy beautiful landscapes.
Welcome back. From that video, you have been able to see some other means of air transportation, but those ones like glider, hot air balloon are not very common in Nigeria. So onto the problems of air transportation. What are the problems? Number one is high cost of maintaining planes. High cost of maintaining planes. This is one of the problems of air transportation. It takes so much money to maintain any faulty plane. The second one is inadequate number of airports. Inadequate number of airports. We don't have airports in all the states in Nigeria. So, and wherever we don't have airport, you know that the plane won't have the opportunity to land or to board any plane there. So that's another problem, inadequate number of airports. Next one is poor state of airport facilities. poor state of airport facilities. That means we still have some certain things to do to upgrade the facilities at our airports to be at international standard. So that's another problem. Inadequacy of trained pilots. Inadequacy of trained pilots. That means we still need to have more pilots, more trained and professional pilots, because they are not enough as we expect. Next one is bad weather conditions. Bad weather conditions, that's another problem of air transportation, bad weather condition, because when traveling or flying at times, they experience this type of situation. So that's another problem. Next one is high cost of fare. High cost of fare. It takes when comparing the fare you pay to travel by road and the one you pay to travel by air, the difference between the two is much. So high cost of fare is another problem. Not everybody can afford to travel by air because of the fare. Okay, now let's look at the solutions to problems of air transportation. One, looking at the solutions, number one, training more pilots and other aviation experts. That's one of the solutions. When we train more pilots and other aviation experts, it will help our air transportation. Next one is buying of modern aircraft. That's another solution to air transportation problem in Nigeria. Building more airports across the country. Building more airports. When we have more airports, we have more planes, more aeroplanes, and the business opportunity in some other states. Next one is regular maintenance of airport facilities. We need to upgrade and improve on the maintenance of our airport facilities. So when we do that regularly, regular maintenance of the airports will really help the air transportation in Nigeria. In today's lesson, we talked about air transportation, and you were told that air transportation means carrying of goods and passengers from one place to another by air. Means of air transportation are very common in Nigeria: helicopters, jets, and aeroplanes. Problems of air transportation: high cost of maintaining planes, inadequate number of airports, poor state of airport facilities, inadequacy of trained pilots, bad weather conditions. And the solutions to problems of air transportation were listed: training more pilots and other aviation experts, buying of modern aircraft, and building more airports across the country. So it's time for evaluation. Question number one. Name 3 means of air transportation in Nigeria. Question number 2. State 2 problems of air transportation. You have 30 seconds to attempt this. Your time starts now. Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is here. I believe you are still there. So let's mark together. 3 means of air transportation in Nigeria: helicopters, jets, aeroplanes. Mark. State 2 problems of air transportation: 1. High cost of maintaining planes, inadequate number of airports, poor state of airport facilities, and other ones that we discussed in today's lesson are very correct. That's it, and I believe most of you will score the 2 correctly. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Until next time, next lesson. Uncle Popo says, keep on studying. Bye.
Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At LASUBEB, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.
My wonderful pupils, we have come to the end of another beautifully packaged edition on the classroom in your home.
Did you enjoy yourselves? Because we actually did, learning with you and dishing out new contents in mathematics, English studies, and of course, general studies. Now, if you missed out any portion of today's lesson, don't fret, my friend. You still have enough opportunity to practice with our online assessment, which is available via the link bit.ly/LASUBEB-TESTS. The link again is bit.ly/LASUBEB-TESTS. Taking this online assessment affords us the opportunity to check on what you're doing so that we can help you to prepare better lessons.
Taking the online assessment is based on if you have access to either your daddies, your mommies, your uncles, or your aunties' Android or smartphones. If not, there's no problem. Just send your questions, your comments, and your assignments to 081 50 86 5663. Please do not call that line. Do not call that number. SMS and WhatsApp messages only. And when you are sending in your assignment, make sure you indicate your name,
Your school,
Your class,
and your local government education authority. That is the only way by which you can be able to identify you and appraise you accordingly.
new content were dished out today in English studies, mathematics, and general studies. All these and the previous lessons are on Lagos SUBEB YouTube channel for you to watch at your own preferred time. Subscribe to Lagos SUBEB YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. The classroom in your home could be watched live on Facebook, the same time airing on television through the page showing on the screen.
Until our next lesson, when we shall meet again on your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home. Make sure you do your homework.
Wash your hands regularly.
study hard, but above all,
Stay safe.
Because at LASUBEB, we leave no child behind.